All right, Pete, let's start with Everton. Christian Norgard is on David Moyes' list. Could he be the first signing sealed this summer for Everton?
Yeah, I think it would be a very smart signing for Everton if they were able to sign Norgard. I think he'll be a very much in demand free agent if he does run down his contract and leave Brentford in the summer. I do think Brentford will be doing everything they can to try and persuade their captain to stay and sign a new contract. Talks are ongoing right now, and I'm sure there is a confidence from Brentford's side that they can keep hold of the Danish international. But yeah, I'm not surprised that Everton and other Premier League clubs are sort of monitoring the situation with Norgard, because for me, he's a very underrated player. I think he's been one of Brentford's standout players since they arrived in the Premier League, and I think, as you said, he would tick a lot of boxes for Everton. He's got good experience, 30 years old, Premier League proven, and if Everton are looking to strengthen in that midfield department ahead of next season, Norgard would be a very astute signing. But I just think Brentford will be doing everything they possibly can to try and keep him, and obviously we know Brentford probably face a few issues keeping hold of some of their other top players. There's some of the likes of Mbuemo, Vissa, etc. I think they'll be doing everything they can to keep Norgard because they really won't want to lose their captain. So I'm sure those talks are ongoing, and I'm sure Brentford will sort of pull out all the stops to try and ensure that they keep hold of Norgard despite interest from Everton and potentially other clubs as well. I think Fulham and Bournemouth have both been linked as well. But yeah, I think Brentford would be very reluctant to lose him because he would be a hard man to replace in that midfield for Thomas Frank's side.
And Paul, we've spoken a lot about the future of the striker position at Everton. Mentioned Tammy Abraham here and there, but do you think he'll end up being the number 9 for Everton next year?
I don't know about Everton. I think there'll be a lot of English Premier League clubs looking at him. He's heavily linked to the move to Leeds if they're to get in the Premier League. Leeds United obviously looking for a number 9. Surprised they didn't go in the market in January and get one. But actually going into the end of the season, it's looking like they're going to have enough with what they've got. But next season, with Tammy Abraham, I think he'd be on a free, won't he? So he's on a loan this season. He's out of contract. He's on a free. There's going to be no shortage of him, of takers in the Premier League because of the experience that he's got. You know, he's a good age now. You look at the experience that he's had since going abroad. Not just with his parent club, but been loaned out as well. Coming back, yeah, listen, he'd be a good fit at Everton, and the way that David Moyes plays with that number 9, the out-and-out striker. Beto has taken the mantle on this season, but next season, if Calvert-Lewin is to move on, they are going to need, somebody who can play that position as well. I think he's certainly an option for them, but I don't think Everton's going to be his only option. But I think the thing that Everton have got next season, obviously, it's looking like they're going to have a strong finish to this season. David Moyes at the helm going into the new stadium as well, which is going to be a massive pull for new players next year. The opportunity to play in that new stadium week in and week out. So yeah, Everton potentially not a relegation threatened team next year with a massive brand new all singing, all dancing stadium. People may laugh, but that will attract some players to the club.
And Pete, Joel Ordonez has caught the eye of David Moyes. Would he fit in nicely with that back line for Everton?
Yeah, he looks a good player, Ordonez. We've seen him in the Champions League this season, helping Club Bruges reach the last 16. Obviously played against Aston Villa the other night as well. So yeah, he's making a name for himself, Ordonez, really, in the Champions League and also in Belgian football. He's still only 20 years old, so he's obviously still a young prospect who I think will only get better with age as well. Everton could be in the market for a new centre-back this summer with Michael Keane's contract expiring, and also the continued speculation surrounding Jared Branthwaite's long-term future at Everton as well. So yeah, I'm sure the club are looking at potential centre-back options. Ordonez would be a tough target to land, I think, due to his price tag. Probably Club Bruges value him around £40 million. I think that might price him out of Everton's sort of ability to sign the player in the summer transfer window. Obviously they will get money to spend under the freaking group, but I'm not sure they'll be going out to splash £40 million on players unless there is a few big sales at Everton, the likes of Branthwaite was to leave or something like that. But yeah, he's a talented player. He ticks a lot of boxes for Everton. I think he'd be a young player that they would like to see come in and develop and maybe potentially sell him on for a huge profit in the future. But he's a talented player. Aston Villa, who are obviously playing Bruges in the Champions League, are another club who have been linked with him as well, and again he would tick a lot of boxes for Villa because they're probably looking to reinforce at centre back as well. They've got Diassi on loan at the minute from Chelsea, and obviously they've had a few injury problems there with Pau Torres injured, Tyrone Mings injured, so I'm sure Unai Emery's side will be looking to strengthen its centre back in the summer. So it won't be a straightforward race for Everton if they do follow up their interest in Ordonez. But yeah, I think his price tag could be prohibitive for Everton in the summer as well.
The thing for Everton is it's Branthwaite, isn't it? I think if they keep hold of Branthwaite, then there's no real wiggle room with the FFP and PSR. The way that things are, if Branthwaite goes and that profit comes into the club, then it might give David Moyes an opportunity to strengthen other areas. I don't think we see Everton paying huge price tags for players, although they are in a situation now where they're able to. You know, again, we're at these frustrating rules of, we've got club owners that want to strengthen and are able to strengthen, but they can't. And I think a lot of Everton's recruitment goes alongside of who leaves the club and gives them the opportunity to either strengthen and bolster the squad as a whole, or keep a couple of very good, talented younger players for another season.
And Paul, we've mentioned quite a bit that David Moyes is interested in attacking the championship talent that may be up for offer coming this summer. Could Georgi Chakvetadze of Watford be one of those players who kind of fits the mold of a David Moyes signing?
He's a hard-working type of player. He's David Moyes' type of player. Attacking midfielder who's got 2 goals in the league this year, 6 assists, and you look at what Watford actually paid for him from Ghent, initially on loan from Ghent, coming in, he's done really well there. In a Watford side who have been indifferent this season. Started off the season really well, results dropped and faded, come back again. We know how Watford hire and fire managers and whether the player recruitment's of a similar level. He's certainly a player that's shown raw talent in the Championship. Whether he can step up and do that in the Premier League, it's that's the next test. But actually, it wouldn't be such a huge risk for Everton because, like I say, Watford paid about €2.5 million, I think, at the time for him. So the outlay for Everton, yes, obviously Watford are going to want to recoup the money because he's 1 year into his permanent deal, so he's going to have 3 years left on his deal at least. But I think the initial outlay won't be a huge risk for Everton. And in today's market that we talk about millions for players, what would he cost, Pete? I mean, you probably know better than me. Around about 5 million it cost to get him out, maybe 5-7 million.
Yeah, I think between 5 and 7 probably would be a reasonable fee to get him out of Watford. And if Watford don't win promotion, which is looking unlikely, then the player himself could maybe push for that move to the Premier League if Everton do firm up their interest.